I want to bring in Democratic Congresswoman from California and January 6th committee member Zoe Lofgren in her first public interview since we learned of the attack on Speaker Pelosi's husband. Congresswoman, thank you for taking the time to be with us today. We've heard from the U.S. Capitol Police launching a review of this attack on Paul Pelosi. Chief Tom Manger says, quote, "Today's political climate calls for more resources to provide additional layers of physical security for members of Congress. This plan would include an emphasis on adding redundancies to the measures that are already in place for congressional leadership." Can you take us inside some of the discussions that are happening right now, maybe that you are having with some of your colleagues, these discussions between lawmakers concerned about their safety and the safety of their families?
I'll just say we're not going to get safer until we call out what is the cause of this political violence. I noted that the head of the RNC, Ronan McDaniels, and also Kevin McCarthy, the minority leader, expressed sadness for Paul Pelosi, but then went on to say it's really a product of, crime that's the Democrats' fault. That's like saying Lee Harvey Oswald was connected with crime in Dallas, or John Wilkes Booth was a result of a crime problem at Ford Theater. Not only is it ridiculous, it is part of the problem of dismissing what is causing this violence. When the shooting occurred of the baseball players, both Speaker Ryan and then Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi convened to condemn it, and both said the rhetoric has to come down. But I would note there was never a campaign of ads to put, Mr. Scalise's picture in a Target for target practice and political ads. Millions of dollars have been spent to demonize Nancy Pelosi and others, and that is the part of the problem. Voters across this country are normal people for the most part. Republicans and Democrats, they may have different views on how to attract a problem, but they are not in favor of our country devolving into a cesspool of political violence. And so I do think that one day from today, voters need to do a very sober assessment of what kind of country do they want to have in the future. I'd note that the former president went on the radio and was engaging, and somehow this was an inside job. This has to be confronted, and no levels of security will be sufficient unless we rescue our democracy, our democratic republic, from those who are essentially encouraging this violence through their rhetoric. I'm not saying they intended for the assassination of Nancy Pelosi, but their rhetoric encouraged it, and they refused to disavow it, and we are not safe as a consequence.
Have you spoken directly to Republicans about this?
I have been in communication with some, but really it comes from the leadership. Their rhetoric doesn't reflect their normal voters. Unfortunately, Republican voters, solid citizens, have sent people who are reckless to the Capitol to represent them. There needs to be a course correction.
I do want to shift now to the committee's work, the January 6th committee. The vice chair, Liz Cheney, says that the panel is now in discussions with former President Trump's attorneys about testifying under oath. She also said this isn't a situation where the committee will be at the, quote, mercy of Donald Trump. How do you plan to keep this productive and under control?
Well, right now there's discussion. I think it's actually occurring as we speak between the president's lawyers and the committee lawyers. He has a deadline of Friday to produce a bunch of documents. And so whether they're serious about having him proceed or not, we'll find out. He has an obligation, a legal obligation to come in. And as Ms. Cheney said, I think a few days ago, we have no intention of letting the former president turn this into some wacko circus. It will be serious, it will be detailed, it will be under oath, and could go on multiple days.
We do want to know, of course, if you're going to have another hearing, if the committee is going to have another hearing. CNN just learned that the Secret Service spokesman spoke to the committee on Monday. If you're not going to have another hearing, how are we going to learn about what you found there?
Well, we have ongoing interviews with Secret Service members. I was present virtually for the one Monday. We are writing a report as we speak. We haven't ruled out revealing information in a public hearing format, but we're also going to issue a written report as well as a multimedia report. So we'll get all the information out.
Anything pivotal from that interview?
Well, as you know, we're not permitted to go through all of the issues, but let me just say that we went through more than 1 million documents from the Secret Service, and some of the public statements that were made don't match up with the documents we received. And so we have questions. We're not alleging anything. We're just saying this doesn't add up.
All right. Congresswoman Zoe Lofgren, we appreciate your time today. Thank you so much.